All right, welcome back, gentlemen. Mr. Rand here. I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of my favorite books. It might surprise you. If you know me, I'm a math teacher that I actually like to read, but it shouldn't be too surprising that some of my favorite books involve a mystery to be solved. My first book, from the creator of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, is Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency. There are 2 books in the series, and they're really good. They're funny, they're quirky, they even dabble into a little sci-fi. They follow this bumbling detective named Dirk Gently as he somehow stumbles and bumbles through solving these mysteries that are threatening the world and the universe. He meets some absurd characters such as a ghost of an alien and even Thor himself. It's even been turned into a couple different series. One starring Elijah Wood is pretty popular. It's got a lot of charm. It's really quirky. If you've read The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, you'll really enjoy it. The second is called The Cuckoo's Calling, and it's different than that one. It's going to be much more serious. It's from author Robert Galbraith, but you might know him or her as J.K. Rowling, Harry Potter fame. She wanted to publish a book on its own merits, not just based off her name, and it's a really good story. It follows this kind of old, down-on-the-luck, partially handicapped son of a former rock star, Cormoran Strike. So the first book, he investigates the suicide of this model. It seemed like a suicide, and then her brother doesn't believe so he hires her, or hires him, to look into it, and it goes through a lot of twists and turns. It's a really good detective story. It doesn't feel cheap. It keeps you on the edge of your seat. It doesn't feel like Harry Potter. It's definitely a lot more mature. It's a really good story. There's 2 other books that I have not read yet, but they do have good reviews. They were so well received that there's even a series on them right now, and I think they will come to the stateside sometime this year. Really worth checking out. The last set of books I want to talk about are the series that really got me into reading on my own. It's the Sherlock Holmes books. There's so many great stories and mysteries, and at the end, the mysteries are logically concluded. They never feel cheap, no deus ex machina, or it's the butler that did it that you've never met. You feel satisfied at the end. There's so many great stories. There's a lot of places to start. I recommend starting with The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. It's a collection of 12 short stories. They usually contain his best and most well-known adventures. It's an excellent read. It's low commitment. You can try a couple short stories, and if it's not for you, skip one, come to the next one. There's a lot of great stuff in here. After that, if you enjoy that, there is The Hound of the Baskervilles, which is his most well-known novel. It's still a pretty quick read, but it's about an ancient curse and a giant hound that's threatening and terrorizing a English moor. It's a little more mysterious than some of the books in the adventures, but much like those, at the end, you feel satisfied at the conclusion. If you like those, there is a very popular BBC series called Sherlock Holmes, starring Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman. Very good. They follow the stories very well, but set in a modern tone. And then last is we're going to talk about the scientific Sherlock Holmes. And what this does is it breaks down a lot of his most famous cases. So it's really enjoyable. If you like to know why certain things work or how Sherlock figured it out, this is a good way. Now, if you've not read any Sherlock Holmes, you don't want to read this. Read Sherlock Holmes first. But once you've read that, if you enjoyed that and you want to know a little bit more about his process, how he solved things, go back and check this out. I'm Mr. Rand. If you want to check out any of these books, they're down in the library. Just check out the mystery section.